Okay, right. So we're gonna get started, right? It's 8:01. So we're gonna get started. There's gonna be a lot of stuff I plan to cover. There's a lot of things that we want to achieve from this, right? So welcome, Ruth, to the interview with Team Rash. Right, I think we are very excited to have you on board. And so just to start off with, right, Ruth, can you just share a bit about your story, right, and how do you get to writing the book? Just a quick background about yourself, what you do, right, and then we'll move to the meat of the interview.
Great. First of all, thank you, Mark, and thank you, Team Rash. I'm really excited to be here. So I'm from Singapore. I grew up, in Singapore. I studied in Singapore. I did, engineering, because back then, engineering, doctor, these are the few trades that we have to do. So I did engineering and landed in a corporate job. However, when I went to Australia to do my MBA, I climbed up the corporate ladder, but I felt I wasn't satisfied. I felt something was missing. And through that, I decided to go on to this journey to pursue my clarity. What is it that really makes me feel like I'm living my life, the life that I'm meant to live? And it's different for everyone. So I found my clarity. So I've transited to be a Gallup certified strengths coach because I'm so obsessed with finding clarity. Now I love helping others find their clarity because it's not difficult like what others would think. It's not difficult. So I've transited. I got to speak to thousands of people on the subject of finding your unique voice, finding your unique story, finding clarity for yourself, for others, and for even your businesses around you. So that's what I'm passionate about. Yeah.
Wonderful, right? So I think like Ruth, there's done a lot of things. I think right after you wrote a book, you got speaking engagements with corporates and MNCs. Because I think right now, and another book that I read right before your book. So what happened is I read this book starting from 6 a.m. Today, right? And before that, I read this other book called Buddha and the Badass, right? I think some of you guys in the audience we know, right? And my take, right, in terms of businesses and companies, right, my thing is the focus on finding our purpose, finding clarity, right, spirituality, right. I think that is going to be a lot more prominent in businesses, in MNCs, in startups in the next few years. And this is a topic that is going to be very, very important. We'll go much deeper into it, right? So, Ruth, I think the first question, right, is why clarity? Like, why did you decide to choose to take your time, effort, right, blood, sweat, and I guess tears also to actually go on deep into the topic of clarity and what is the importance of it in the first place, and what can you achieve out of gaining clarity in your life?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Everyone's talking about clarity, and it's all started. Even Simon Sinek talk about, it's about the why. And as I was searching my clarity, I decided to find clarity for myself. And in fact, I actually wrote the book for myself. That's what my mentor said. Write a book for yourself. If it works, then publish it for the rest to read. So that's what I did. And I think it's really important because coming from Singapore or from a culture where we tend to compare, it's really difficult to find clarity now because of social media. You can look at social media and you start comparing. Wow, this person's life is so good. Look at mine. Or, should I do this, what this person is doing, or should I do that? And you know that depression, anxiety, etc. is rising up. And research has shown it is due to possibly of unmet needs. To me, this unmet needs is simply a lack of clarity. If we had clarity, we are able to meet the need. So to me, this is really, really important. Clarity affects us in every area of our lives. Let me give you an example. If you decide, you've bought a place, if you decide to pay down your mortgage and make sure that you want to pay down your mortgage as soon as possible to make sure you're debt free, okay? If you see an exquisite couch for sale, would you buy it? You want to pay down your debt, would you buy the couch? No, right?
Hopefully not.
How long does it take? Yeah, how long does it take for you to make the decision? A split second, right? Because you have clarity, you want to pay down your debt, so you will definitely not buy that couch, right? A lot of people waste time. Everything they decide, they think they're doing due diligence, trying to decide on this thing, trying to decide on that thing, trying to decide on something else. But I dare to say, the first due diligence they need is clarity. Once you have absolute clarity what you want, making decision can be just a split second. You get what I mean? So it really affects every area of our lives. And I also, there's been a lot of talks around about, sometimes people make finding clarity really complex. For me, I tend to see clarity if, do you go to an optometrist to get a pair of glasses?
Yep.
You wear glasses, yeah. So every one of us do, right? But the beautiful part about clarity is sometimes it's not about comparing. Some people have perfect vision. Some people just need a prescription, right? But it doesn't matter. We shouldn't compare why this person's eyesight is this, why this person's eyesight is not. But as long as we look for an optometrist, the good news is, as long as we look for an optometrist, everyone can have perfect vision, right? So clarity is not difficult. It's not for just the rare few. It is just a matter of some methods, some steps we take so that we all can have a perfect vision. And the beautiful part is, I can't wear your glasses. You can't wear mine. And that's the beauty of clarity. When we have clarity, we stop comparing because we know who we are. We get comfortable in our skin. Can you imagine living a life free from comparison, free from expectations? How good would life be? So to me, clarity really impacts every area of our lives. That's why I'm passionate about it. It was a tough, for me, it was a complete transition. It doesn't need, it may not happen to everyone, but it was a complete transition for me. But because I did that transition, I did the hard yards for that transition, I now feel a lot more free. I now feel that I can pursue my dreams. And I feel more satisfied. Yes, I had a good business, a high corporate profile, but I wasn't satisfied. I think that's important to have that satisfaction in our lives.
Yep. Wow. I love what you share. I think even then I learned so much. As I read a book for sure, but seeing you speak about it, right, with that passion, right, I think there's a whole other energy to it, right? So guys, if you just with that short sharing by Ruth, right, and you liked it, just let me type yes, right? If you really liked it, like the video, smash some likes button, share the video, right? I think we're gonna get a lot more people to learn about this, right? And one thing I wanted to pick up, right, which is what you shared, like depression rates are going up, right? People are getting a lot more people getting anxiety, depression. Obviously, we know because of reasons like social media and everything that actually perpetuates it. But one thing you said at the end, right, which was that if we were to find our clarity, right, and we go on as the glasses, which is unique to us, right? The power of not comparing, right? Not comparing and being fulfilled and being satisfied with ourselves will be so much higher, and that's so much more fulfilling, right? Live such a more fulfilling life. So I just want to share a very quick story, right, Ruth? So so for myself personally, I created this thing called the Master Implementer Movement, right? Which actually aims to ask the question, to answer the question why different people, right, can go for the same exact course, right, same exact program, right, same exact workshop, right, but achieve drastically different results. I think you also know people can pay thousands of dollars, but they don't achieve the results that they want. And I've been trying to find the answer for like long time, interviewing a lot of guests and experts and everything. But so my initial take was that it's all about the action, right? It's all about the habits, right? It's all about the learning. But something that has really gotten to me in the past 2 to 3 weeks, right? And with your book for sure, what we've read, right? Which is that actually it's a lot to do with mindset, right? More than the specific actions you take. It's more behind the intention. And what you share about clarity is just so important. Man, so I want to go a bit, I just want to go next, right, to the next part of it. Like, we understand the importance of clarity and how it can really change someone's lives. And especially because we lead to this thing called the purpose, right? We lead to this thing called a purpose. Because through clarity, you ultimately find your purpose. And there's one thing you shared in your book, right? Which is that once you find your clarity, you go to your purpose, right? And that's when you start willing to pay the price, right? To achieve your purpose, to achieve your goals, your dreams. Could you just share a bit more about what you share about it, right? Is from clarity, right? Ultimately, you get to find your purpose, right? Your drive, your passion in life. And then there's something that you are willing to pay the price on. So could you just share a bit more about the idea to some of our readers? I think most of them haven't read the book yet. I know that they will after this interview, but could you just share a bit more about the idea?
Okay, let me talk about purpose first, then I'll talk about price. So I know that there's a lot of teachings out there saying that, you know, you've got to find your purpose before you move. You've got to find your purpose. But not everybody can find the purpose straight up front. It's like some people have require a lot more adjustments, you know. So the fact that a lot of us, the reason why I write this book is because a lot of people do not take action because they feel that they haven't had that clear picture of what their purpose is. I am here to challenge that. I firmly believe our purpose will unfold as we move towards the goal. So let me ask you, in the natural, right? If you see something very far away, what do? You walk towards it, right?
Yep.
You walk towards it, and as you walk towards it, it becomes clearer, correct?
Yep.
It is the same. Finding purpose is the same. Not everybody has this solid, clear purpose they can see. But what I encourage is to take action. Try it out. Take action. And as you walk closer, things become clearer. So don't let your inability to see your purpose clearly inhibit you from taking any action. Because obviously, in the natural, if you need to walk forward, in life, if it's blur, walk forward, test it out, move forward. Yes, clarity leads to purpose. Clarity of action, moving towards what you think could be right, leads to purpose. Now, another test is to see, is this purpose really the purpose that you want? How do you tell? What is the litmus test? And Mark, you mentioned the litmus test is that this purpose that you're moving towards is something you're willing to pay the price. Okay, let me put it this way. I know some of you have New Year resolutions, right? If you find yourself writing New Year resolution year after year, but it's still not achieved, obviously you're not willing to pay the price. My advice is to strike it off and find something else, right? So if it is really your purpose, if it is really your passion, you will be willing to pay that price. So that's why in the book, I think in chapter 3, is that correct? Yeah, chapter 3, for you to find the why, it's not difficult, but it is a process. Because as I shared, you know, we need to move to find our purpose. So your true why is actually the sweet spot where your purpose meets your passion, and it's something you're willing to pay the price for, right? Because if you think that that's your purpose, but you're not willing to pay the price, it sounds bad, but it's actually a dream or a fantasy, right? If you're willing to pay the price, then you know this is a true litmus test. This has triggered your why. So everything you need to, it requires action for you to figure out. So another test, let's go back to the optometrist, yeah?
Yep.
When you go to optometrist, you see the optometrist, I don't know if you've been there, they'll put a lens on it and say, is this clearer or is it not clear?
They'll test it out.
All right, okay. So then who decides? Who decides?
You, right? Ultimately, it's like me, right? I tell the optometrist,
So once you decide, right, what do? Okay, you decide. Then you prescribe that lens, you wear it, and then you go out, and then you walk. Then maybe you have headache. Maybe it was not right. Then you go back to the optometrist and you change another lens, right? That's how, or maybe it was very clear. So to me, your vision, if you can write this down, your vision is proven perfect by your action, not by sitting there deciding. You wear the lens, you go out, you walk around. If it suits you, great. If it doesn't suit you, you come back to the optometrist to prescribe another lens, right? Yep. So your vision is proven perfect by your action, not decision. It doesn't, the day you decide this lens is still not proven correct, you may have chosen the wrong lens because you're in the room. The only way you know is that when you go out in life with that glasses, does it suit you? Right? So my encouragement is to find clarity. A lot of us think that, oh, I need to have perfect clarity before I move. But we need to take actions towards it. And the way we take action is whether we're willing to pay the price, whether it's something we're passionate about. Once you get that sweet spot, you're ready to rock and roll. So it's a process. It's a process. Yeah.
And you take time, right? So it's not something that's instant. You'll take a bit of time to get there.
Correct. Your purpose unfolds as you take each step, as you follow your heart. So
I love
a Christian.
that.
Yeah, I'm a Christian, so I like to use analogies from the Bible. Give me grace for it, but I think it's really easy to understand.
Yeah.
So the Bible says that God is a lamp to our feet. Okay, so imagine our feet. So your path illuminates when you step forward, right?
Yep.
Your path actually illuminates as you step forward. He never said he's our head torch. You're not going to see everywhere, so far away. But sometimes it's about taking that step, and then your path will be illuminated. So it's really about taking action towards clarity. I think I really want to free people from the myth, oh, I don't have clarity, I can't decide, I can't act on things. And 1 year later, we're still stuck because we haven't acted on it, and we haven't really discovered, is that the price we're willing to pay? So as we take baby steps, no condemnation. Sometimes it's the correct way, is what suits us. Sometimes what we thought was our purpose or our passion may not be what we like. So we will only know it when we take action. Yeah.
We'll only know it, right, when we take action, right? We can have all the beliefs, all the things in our head, we can analyze, right? We can brainstorm different ideas, but we don't know until we take action, right? And I love that, right? So like you talk about, because a lot of people have that misconception that they need to have perfect vision first. But I think what I thought about, like going to the optometrist, right, and checking it out, and then going out to check it out, and if it's not clear yet, go back and do it. I love that. So guys, you're watching this right now, and you know that what Ruth is sharing is like gold, right? Like great stuff, wisdom, right? I think someone said wisdom earlier, right? I absolutely agree, right? Like this video, share this video, get more people to watch. And the next thing is, because we really want more people to benefit, right? What you're gonna do, right? So I think we have 173 of you live. Is if you take a screenshot of this and you post your lessons learned, and you tag me and Ruth together, right? After this entire thing, you post 3 of your biggest lessons, right? And you do it by midnight, right? You do it by midnight, and what happened is my team we're going to send you a complete set of notes from today's interview, right? The transcript, the notes, and so you can actually move forward to gaining the clarity in your life as well. All right. So that's for the guys watching it. And I just want to go a bit deeper, right, Ruth? So I think right now we talk about understanding your the purpose, paying the price, and finding clarity. So if right now, I think in my head right now, the people who can't find clarity in their lives, right, usually it leads to 2 groups of people, right? The first group of people is people who just don't take action at all. They are people that just don't they just like, I just want to do my own thing, right? I don't really want to take action to find my clarity or even to achieve my passion. But there's another group of people, right? Actually, these are people that I've already seen over the past 2 months since the Extreme Wealth Summit was created, right, in May. And these are the people that they attend course after course, they attend program after program, right? They want to achieve something, but they haven't really found the clarity. So at least in your opinion, right, Ruth, I know you have coached a lot of coaches as well. So what would be your advice to these 2 groups of people? So the first group of people are those that they really just do nothing because they realize that they haven't found the clarity, so let me just chill. But the second group of people who actually they do take action, but somehow, right, they're just overwhelmed, they are just they get burned out and everything. So what would be advice for these 2 groups of people?
Oh, very good, very good. I actually wrote the book also for similar groups of people. So
yes.
that is why I think clarity is so important now, because for the first group, I would say that they are fairly comfortable. When you're comfortable, it's hard to make change. And I certainly believe that lack of action is actually a lack of clarity, right? So that I cannot force them, because if they're too comfortable, there's nothing I can, if they're too comfortable, then likely they need to understand what is it that they want for their lives. So I think it's important that it would be really sad if people, I think with COVID now that's happening, that a lot of people have a loss of jobs and loss of things. Sometimes they have a wake-up call, like, oh no, what's going to happen. That's why I think, to me, this season, where we actually have a less busy lifestyle, is a perfect time to find clarity. Because at the end of the day, right, at the end of, once we pass this COVID season, what do you want to be known for? You want to be known for someone who's watching Netflix, wearing mask, washing hands? Is that all you want to do, or is it something that we want to do, right? So I always talk about, in the past, before COVID, we live life really busy. We're rushing from one area to the other. It has become really hard to find clarity.
Wow.
But if we learn to settle, if they do take time to learn to settle and really discover what they want, it is a lot easier to find clarity. Clarity is always found within. So for this group of people, I would encourage this group of people to perhaps change the community because they're too comfortable. Change the community with someone that they look up to, someone they want to aspire to. The community really breeds your clarity as well. So that change of community will help you find that clarity. Yeah. For the second group, a lot of people do a lot of stuff, and that's a problem as well. And that's why I believe right now we definitely need clarity, because there's no lack of opportunities. There's no lack of information. The only problem is there's too many of them. So how do you choose one that really, really allows you to flourish and get you to where you want to go? It really depends on your personal clarity. That's why I say, some people, this course, everyone is going for this course, I'm going for this course. They end up learning and learning and learning, but they are not implementing. And actually, and it really depends on personality types. So there are some. That's why I'm a Gallup certified strengths coach. And when you take your Gallup as a personality assessment, what I love about it is that there's 34 different strengths. Each of us you get your top 5. And from top 5, you can actually get your insights on how you are wired. So for example, there are a couple of strengths. One of the strengths is called learner. And I'm coming from training background. Most of the people who come to training, learner is one of the top 5. Okay, so learner are people who love the process of learning. So that means they can learn from anything. Because they like the process, they can learn from all the way from dancing, pottery, investment, property. They love the learning. And especially when they learn something new, it's really exciting. However, every strength has a good side and a bad side. We call it a blind spot. So people with learner actually struggle with implementation. Because implementation is not the process that they are learning. So that's where we need to have a perspective shift to let them know that learning is not just about knowledge. Learning is about on-the-job training, on-the-job learning. And that's where if we can shift the perspective and allow them to understand and reprioritize, because a lot of people with the strength learner, they're really, really good at learning. They're really, really good at absorbing information. But sometimes they are looking at too many things for them to focus and prioritize. So at least being aware of your blind spots allow you to maybe take a step back and say, okay, maybe I have overcommitted. Maybe it's something that I need to narrow down. Another strength, it really depends on different strengths. Like I remember one of my top 3 strengths is called activator. Activator are people who love to start projects. So I love to start projects. We are the people that, companies will hire to be pioneers. If you go to a new project, do a new project, we're okay. We don't need details. We're happy to roll our sleeves and start. Entrepreneurs are very strong activators. However, because I love starting so many projects, one day I was feeling really burnt out, and my only excuse was, I don't have time. But my problem because I wasn't aware that it was my blind spot. My problem wasn't about time. My problem was starting too many projects. So if we understand our personality, we go to the root of the problem.
Yep.
Right? So for me, I thought that my problem was not enough time to do everything. But then I realized that I've started too many projects and it's time to cut down. So understanding this allows me to, you know, not just have breadth, but also have depth. So depending on personality types, I would encourage the people, first of all, let clarity come from within. I really love the quote, you know, if you want to reach higher, you've got to dig deeper. You've got to understand what is your purpose, what is your passion, what is it that you want before deciding what you want to do. Otherwise, it's so easy to be swayed. Oh, this person is doing this, let's go. Oh, that person is doing this, let's go. Oh, then you just follow everyone, but then you don't have depth.
Yep.
So that's important. The second thing is to really understand how you are wired, whether there are some blind spots that's actually hindering you, so that you can be mindful of it and use it for your benefit. Another example for me was, okay, so my activator made me really worried about start too many projects. So which project do I kill? So I didn't know. So I had another strength. There was my number one strength. That strength is called futuristic. So futuristic are people who love to think about the future. And I just did the simple exercise because I'm wired this way. Every time I think about the future, I get energized. So I just scheduled time for me each day to think about the future. The more I thought about the future, the clearer I saw what I wanted, the easier was for me to cut away the projects that wasn't contributing to my future.
Wow. Thanks so much.
Okay. No, that's for me. Based on my personality, I can really use my personality as an example. But definitely, it is important for us to find clarity within. What works for someone may not work for you. So that's why it's important not to compare and find something that works for you, something that you feel comfortable doing. Yeah.
Wow, so like that was some really. So I think I'm going to ask you like 3 questions, but I think like my notes is already filled up in 1 page, two whole pages already. So like guys, so again for those who are new, right? Hi. So this is a crazy amount of interview, right? If you join halfway, please go and watch from the beginning. But I was sharing like if you actually screenshot this interview, right, and you just share your 3 biggest lessons here. Right, we are going to send you the whole recording, as in the whole transcript of the notes, right, for you to benefit. So just tag me and Ruth, and we'll share with you that. But I don't go like I just want to test out a bit of like talking about purpose, right, talking about clarity, right, which is that when we ask people to share, like for example this video interview, right, a lot of people might just think about it's just about sharing this topic on clarity, right? But when I think about it, right, especially based on what you shared, like guys, when you share this video, right, it's not just about helping us to share. It's about who, like by you sharing, right, who are the people that you could possibly reach out to, right? And these people, who knows, after they found their clarity in life, right, they are the people who are world changers. These are the people who can create massive impact to the world. And it's all because of the fact that you planted that seed of getting people to find their clarity. So just wanted to put it out there. That's just my I just want to put it out there. But I love what you shared about the 2 groups of people, right? So the first group of people are those that need to find to change their environment. Right, I always tell my guys, right, that it's not just about your physical environment, it's about your digital environment as well as who do you follow digitally in this age, right? And I love that. And secondly, I think for the second group of people, right, it's about this thing called self-awareness, right? And so you talked a bit about the Strengths Finder, right, that you're a certified coach for. Could you share a bit more about what the Gallup Strengths Finder is about? Just to go a little bit deeper. I know you gave some examples, but you want to give a quick introduction of what it's about and how people can maybe get access to it as well.
Okay, sure. So Gallup is actually one of the largest polling company in the world, and this Gallup Strengths Assessment has been done and proven for over 5 decades, scientifically backed up, and we have like over 20 million people who has done the assessment. A lot of companies use it, like Facebook uses it, Striker. Most of the companies that are best employers to work for actually uses the Gallup Strengths. Do you know why? Think of it this way: they're paying money. They're paying money for their employees to do the personality assessment. Accenture, for example, has 300,000 people. Okay, guess how much they're investing in their staff? Why do you think they would invest so much?
Then again, like employees are their asset, right? So it's like millions, or like they are the core of the company, right?
It's a proven ROI. So there's a proven ROI that salespeople do better after knowing themselves. It's a proven ROI that people are actually 3 to 6 times more engaged when they know who they are. A lot of performance is not hitting about, oh, you didn't do well, you didn't do well. It's now a change of mindset, because companies who lead by fear doesn't last long. It's about what are you good at? Let's push you and see what you're good at and allow you to shine. So strengths to me is not just an assessment test. Yes, the assessment test is backed up by science. It is very detailed. So it gives you a picture of who you are. It gives you a language to share with people who you are. And it is also proven that a lot of companies, that there is a higher level of engagement once people know who they are. But the strengths is not something that you just do the assessment, oh, this is me, and you throw it aside. It is a philosophy. It's a philosophy that we always focus on what we are good at. Just imagine if you have a child, if you keep scolding them on their weakness, they don't respond as well to you. However, if you encourage them, you know, tell them what they're good at, they shine. But it's just that when we grow up, we think that we don't have this privilege, which is sad. I think this is something that we need to cultivate, which is a culture to look at what you're good at, because you really can't judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree. So understanding your strengths of who you are really makes a huge difference.
Wow, I love it. So I think it's so important, the part on like finding your strengths, right? Because a lot of people they are kind of stuck doing the things that they are not necessarily good at, right? And because of that, they are kind of like miserable, right? They're not happy with their jobs, they don't feel fulfilled, right? Which I feel is a big waste, especially at this time, right? Because I think this period, right, like the era we're living in right now, right, is the time of boundless opportunities, right? Like you definitely with action, with faith, right, you can definitely get to where you want. So at least for me, right, like with some of my friends and everything, sometimes I see them that they are not at a job that they like, right? They complain about it every day, right? Whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, right? Like I feel quite sad, man, because I know that like these are smart, intelligent people, right? These are people at the top of top in terms of the IQ scale and everything. But because they chose not to focus on their strengths, they are wasting their lives, man. So I think that's so very important, right? I think we'll share a bit more later about how they could possibly get the strength assessment if they want, right? But I want to talk to the next part, right? Which is that I guess you could say that the first step would, of course, be to get the strengths finder, right? But what would be the second or the third implementable step, right, that people can take if they do want to find their clarity in life? So I think the first one we'll talk about the strength finder. That's great, right? But then I think, what do you think is the second or third thing that they could possibly do if they want to find greater clarity in life?
Yeah, greater clarity of themselves. I just want to backtrack about Gallup. I met the CEO actually. I met the CEO last year, and the CEO is Jim Clifton. He's written a book as well. It's about the manager, and he was actually flown by Lee Kuan Yew himself to coach Lee Kuan Yew team and the cabinet. So it's definitely something that even Lee Kuan Yew and cabinet,
Lee Kuan Yew himself, right? Wow.
Yeah. So yes, definitely number one, strength. Number two, I think it is really understanding your purpose, like we shared earlier, to be able to identify your purpose. So I would encourage everyone to actually first draft a vision, And I would always I do this in evening college Bible classes as well. We do have strengths-based living. A lot of people, it's not that they don't have a vision, it's that sometimes the vision is too big, they don't dare to believe it, they think they're dreaming. Okay, so what happened is that when they draft the vision, I'll sit down with them and I'll look at their strengths. And then most of the time, I will say, your vision is very different from the other person's vision. I understand, but it's very aligned to your strengths. It's just amazing how, like, if I have a friend, he loves to coach people, but he then I look at his strengths. Oh, he has first strength, empathy. He understands the other party, etc. So whatever vision you have, when you look at your strengths and you do a strengths-based vision, you realize whether you believe in the Creator or not, you are wired with the strengths that you carry to carry out the vision that you have. So sometimes it's not that people do not believe, like when it's not that people don't have a vision, they think it's too big, but when they compare it with the strengths, they realize that this vision is how I'm wired. So I can own this vision. So
that's how you achieve, and that's how you ultimately, like, because sometimes people, when they pin such a big purpose and they get a bit intimidated, but realize that, hey, like, that is my strength or that's not my strength, right? And then it's back to like clarity of like, is this something that I really want to work towards? Is this something that I really want to take action towards, right? Which is going to be way better for the kind of life you want to live.
Yeah, so see clarity as figuring out your instruction manual for your life, because we're all wired differently, right? Like your child, like if you have a child, the child at how many years old, they all have different character. They're born with that kind of character. So strength is the same as the innate behavior and strengths. So we're all wired differently. So if we understand our vision is aligned to how we are wired, then we can run unapologetically towards our vision, because we are like running on writing our own instruction manual. So that's definitely one way for them to write their vision. The second, a couple of very practical exercise that they can do. Practical exercise is, for example, if they can just ask their friends for 3 words. Can you give me 3 positive words that describe me? So they can ask all their friends, close friends, to describe them. And then they can just put the words into what we call, there's a lot of online word clouds or whatever. Once you put to the word cloud, then you figure, oh, this is how my friends perceive me. Because once you put a word cloud, you can see which are the bigger words that stand out. That's one way of finding clarity. Another way of finding clarity is in my book. I have to look for it. Is what I call the 3S exercise. This is very, very helpful. For even writing books, or for just see yourself. As a book.
Page. I know it's page 119. The story, strengths, and skills.
Yes. So I really want to encourage people. There's 3S. Stories is your story. No one can take it from you. Okay. Strengths, you're born with it. No one can take it from you. These are innate. But skills can be learned. So don't worry about skills. What's more important is what's your story and what's your strength. Why stories are important? Like, for example, I coach a lot of speakers to be, and some people who have, for example, if they have been abused by someone in their life, or if they have an abusive husband, you will see that their vision and purpose in life is to support other women. So can you see that most of people's vision is based on what they have gone through? So stories is very important. So see yourself as a book. What are the chapters in the book? Story, strength, and skills. See yourself. So I usually draw a timeline of our a timeline, and then look at major events in your life, whether it's a high or a low. Major events, how has it shaped you? How has it made you think differently? So this would help. And then strengths, obviously you can do the strength test or ask your friends. And then by looking at your story, it will give you greater clarity of what your vision could be if you're struggling with vision, because understanding your story helps you to actually see what you're passionate about, because it shows you your character and what you fight for, what you're willing to pay the price for. Yeah, there's so many ways. Like there's another way, but you've got to be patient with this way. My mentor, Michael Grinder, taught me. So is for journaling. So write a journal, and then write only on one side of the journal. On one side of the journal, okay, leave the other side blank. And a few days later, you can go back and read the journal, but read it as a third party, trying to observe. You're trying to date yourself. So you're trying to observe what this person, and then describe this person. So that could help you gain clarity as well. But most importantly, for me, I think these are exercises. Some people may not have the patience to do it, but most importantly, clarity is about taking action. It's like a funnel. If you're, say, for example, feed your interests. So if you want to find clarity, don't sit at home. Feed your interests. Think about, okay, what are the things that you like doing? Go for it. Feed your interests. Or I like dancing, I like singing, whatever I like. I like investing. Feed your interests. And it's a funnel, because once you start doing them, you realize some you're not interested. You can do it for a while and you just lose interest, then just chuck it off. So it becomes a funnel. And then you see which is the one that you're, after a while you're still doing it, is probably filtering out what's important to you. That could be another way.
So I think what you just did is you gave so many different ideas, which is great, right? Because you gave so much, and all of them are from the book, right? So like for guys like I know right now we'll share a bit more about how you could possibly get the book and win the book for free, right? But the book, right, is not only like it contains like wisdom and insights, right? But it's also like specific actionable exercises, right? That you can take it for yourself. So I think whatever Ruth just shared, right, all these exercises right there, you can take action on them right away. Right, so that's something that I really love, right? And so we have about 15 more minutes to the end of the interview, right, Bruce? So I think something I want to ask, right, which is, you mentioned one part, right, which is this thing called clarity is a matter of perspective, right? I think that was one point that really struck me. I thought that was a very, it left an impact on me, man, like in terms of what you shared. So is it okay to just share a bit more about what do you mean by clarity is a matter of perspective, right? And I think that would be something that would be very useful for the audience.
Sure. It's in chapter 4 of the book. So it's my personal story. So again, I always go back to the lens. So to me, have you gone for positive? Have you gone for like trainings where they say, all you need to do is to think positive, stay positive, speak positive? Sometimes it works for you, sometimes it doesn't. Do you know why? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Because I really believe that clarity trumps positive affirmation. What I mean by that is, if I were to keep saying that I am good, but ultimately I believe in my mind I'm not, it may backfire. So this is what exactly happened to me. So I'm sharing my story. So when I first came to Australia, I couldn't find work for 6 months. It was a big blow because, I come from Hewlett Packard, SAP, big companies. I did my MBA, did really well, and I couldn't find work. And I got into panic attacks and anxiety attacks. And I went to see the psychologist. And the psychologist said that I'm having anxiety attacks. I should take medication. So I did, because out of desperation, I did. But it was really bad journey for me. It was very bad. I didn't even dare. This is something I haven't even shared with my family yet in Singapore. So don't tell them. So but anyway, so it was really bad. And then ultimately I found my job, and things went back to normal. But that label never left me, because when I asked her, why do I need to take medication? She said that, I need to take medication for life. She believes that I am in somewhat on a spectrum of autism. I have Asperger's. that then I asked her, why do you think I have Asperger's? And so she said, oh, that's because you have a tendency to think things black and white. And I was really devastated to think that I may have to take medication for the rest of my life. But then I watched a movie. The movie was A Beautiful Mind. It talked about this guy who won the Nobel Prize but struggled with schizophrenia. He took responsibility for his life. So I decided I'm going to take responsibility. So I researched about that. I came off the medication by exercising, using herbal medication. And life went okay. I went to a company, new company. I was leading connect groups. I was, doing well. But that label that I'm not normal, I have Asperger's, never left me. It was almost a few years later when I was going for a Gallup Certified Strengths coaching class that I realized when I read my strength, my fourth strength is called belief. So the power of the strength belief is that we have core unchanging values. So people are like, we are trusted people with core unchanging values. People will know what our response is and what we value. But there's a blind spot. Remember, we talk about every strength has a blind spot. So the blind spot of that strength is that I have a tendency to see things black and white. And when I realized that, it was just a blind spot. It wasn't defining me. That label came off. So when I thought that I had Asperger's, it was as if I was wearing a lens of shame. I was carrying this. Now, even though outside I was functioning, but everywhere I go, all I could see was shame, shame, shame. I tried to break it. I went for positive seminar. I tried to crumple it, but I was still wearing it. It was only when I realized I had clarity that it wasn't Asperger's, it was just my belief, my blind spot, that I realized this glass is completely broken. It can only be broken by clarity, not even by positive affirmation. Once it's broken, I will stop wearing it. And I learned to understand my strengths and deal with it. For me, belief, I use it for my good now. I understand belief have core unchanging values. I selectively choose things to be black and white. For example, if we think we can, we can. That is black and white for me. I'm going to go for my goals. I'm going to work hard. And if I think I can, if I build that 10,000 hours with whatever I want, I can achieve it. That's my black and white for me. And this has served me well. And most importantly, it liberated me. So to me, it's a change of perspective. So I always tell people, you know what? It's time to change, upgrade your lens. In psychology, they call it reframing. For me, just get a new pair of lens. Get a lens that looks good. For me, I carry a lens that tells me I am uniquely wired from heaven to carry out my vision. I'm uniquely wired to fulfill my dreams the way I'm wired. I'm going to live it out the best of me. So that's important that we change our lens of what we see. Otherwise, it can really, really drag us down. So I want to share with you one last thing. You see this? This is an Australian $100. Yeah. So sometimes in life, where, especially now with COVID, sometimes life just doesn't treat us really well. We feel crushed. We feel small. And that's when we had this pair of glasses that's holding us back. We feel so small. Sometimes we don't even dare to move. But I want to encourage you. It doesn't take away the fact that it is still $100. So to me, finding clarity is very important because you're going to find that value in you. You're going to find that you're uniquely wired from heaven to carry the strengths that you have. You don't have to look to the left or to the right. You can just, what do you do when you feel small? Don't hide and tuck yourself in a corner. Don't hide and tuck yourself in a corner. Stretch out. Stretch out. Do something different. Stretch out. And then you will your value. So my encouragement is understand yourself and then take action, stretch out towards your goal and change your perspective, because your perspective is that you're not crushed. You're not crushed. You are valuable. So I want to leave with you that change your perspective, you change your life. Yeah.
Wow, that's powerful, man. Firstly, thank you for sharing your story. I know you haven't shared it with even your own family, but I feel that story could really inspire so many people, man. As in right now, yes, we have 168 people, but imagine if these people go on to share the message, right? Share about the importance of clarity, right? And not only the like adults and everything that want to achieve, right? But my take is the kids, right? For people from young, right? And they hear your message, right? Imagine the kind of life they can live, right? Instead of being, I think what you talked about label was absolutely important, that people can stop living under that limiting beliefs, that limiting labels that hold them back. And if more kids, more students, right? More children learn about your message, right? I think the world would be a much, much better place in the coming years, man. So there's something I wanted to share, right? And yeah, I just want to end off with maybe just two more things, right? I know we might probably overrun. I'm looking at it, but I think there's just so much gold, right, that you really have to share. So I think one is, I think the second last one is, I think a lot of people, even though I think a lot of people watch this interview, I think they really will understand. But there are some people out there, they might feel that clarity is like such a fluffy concept, right? Like such a like cliche and all. But like, could you? But one thing that really got me, like as in when I read the story, I was really like touched and like, wow, like was when you shared about Xiu Mei, right? So is it okay if you just share a bit about maybe Xiu Mei's story, right? And about your thoughts about like, is really clarity very fluffy, or is it something that's really like concrete and people can actually get things done, right, with clarity? But I thought the story of Xiu Mei is something worth sharing with the world, man.
Yeah, I love Xiu Mei. So I first met Xiu Mei maybe 2 years ago. And obviously I'm in the speaking coaching field. So it was one of my events when I met Xiu Mei. And Xiu Mei came up to me, but Xiu Mei had cerebral palsy, which means she actually spoke with a slur and her movement was a bit restricted. But she came up to me at that time. I haven't written my book. She came up to me and she said that she has written a book. So I was really impressed. I was like, wow. And as I heard her story, I realized that she was an amazing lady. You can look her up. She spoke with a slur. Like I had to listen to understand her. Like I wrote a book. Like I couldn't really understand her. But she wrote a book on her life story, because since young, when she grew up, she has been bullied. People literally call her an alien. But she did not wallow in self-pity. She instead wrote this book so that others may understand her life, so that she wanted to protect people like her. She wanted people like her to be understood. Even though she mumbled, she still wrote the book. And do you know that what's the average number of books sold for any self-publisher? Like if I, like for me, self-published books, you know what's the average number of books sold?
Is it about a few hundred? A few hundred? It's not a lot, right? Yeah, it's a pretty small number. Yeah.
250. You guess how many books did Xiu Mei sell?
Wow, that story, thousands, I guess. Yeah.
Yes, she sold 10,000 copies with a mumbling slur. Someone who speaks with a slur. She sold 10,000 copies. And when I spoke to her, it was exactly because she knew her purpose. She didn't let her speech or how she was affect her. She just continued. That's why clarity is important, because I shared before, the lack of action is the lack of clarity. She had absolute clarity. Xiu Mei saw her beauty. She didn't have much, but she saw what she could bring. You know, Xiu Mei literally took action. She took action and she ran her race. So to me, clarity is important because it gives you that stamina. Life is a marathon. Xiu Mei ran her race and she ran it well. She achieved impossible things. She sold 10,000 books. She's listed as Singapore's Unsung Heroes in 2018, appeared on newspaper, all because she had a vision, all because she had clarity.
Yeah.
That is why, you know, when you have clarity so deep, you will not let anything stop you. That's why, to me, it's very, very important that we all find clarity. Even companies pay millions of dollars to have strategy sessions to find out why, have a proper vision for the company. Why not do it for yourself? I want to share with you one last tip. I thought that would be good. I know time is running out, but this tip was given to me by my mentor, who once gave $1/4 million to charity.
Wow.
So I asked him, so he gave $1/4 million to charity. So I asked him, okay, if there's one thing you want to share with me, what would it be, mentor? And he asked me, how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as a CEO of your life? So if I'm a company, Roofsaw Inc., who's the CEO? Mark Gill Inc., who's the CEO? Yes. Do you see yourself as a CEO of your life? So if companies do vision, mission statement, why not you? How much are you investing in yourself? Accenture invests in their 300,000 employees millions of dollars. How much are you investing in yourself? How much are you investing in your finding clarity for your vision? So my encouragement to you is to very practical steps is to regularly meet with your CEO. At work, you meet your CEO, you give report, right? You have performance review, KPI. So why don't you meet with your own CEO? So for me, obviously, I'm a Christian. So my CEO is Jesus. I'm Chief Executing Officer. I meet with I pencil in my diary actually once a week, depending on how often you want to meet your CEO. But in the time of crisis, especially when you're going to meet, when you are looking for clarity, I would encourage you to meet your CEO as often as possible. Now, for those who don't have faith, I'd like you to, when you meet with your CEO, to really close your eyes and imagine yourself 5 years later. What are you doing? Who will you be? Then invite this person 5 years later to sit next to you and you have a meeting with him or her. Tell him or her what you're doing. Is it contributing to the future him or her you're sitting next to? I think that will help you to find clarity, because clarity is sometimes about decluttering, getting rid of things that you don't need. It's about, investing, maybe investing in certain skills that you need. But you can't invest in skills if you declutter. So all this is all wrapped around you seeing yourself as the author of your life, as a CEO, and you can find your clarity. So I really want to encourage you that, sometimes it's like a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But to me, I see it as an arrow, When you pull back an arrow, you feel like, so much work to find clarity. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Stay with it. Stay with the process. Is it worth it? One day when maybe COVID, when it's over, when you found enough, finding clarity is like pull back of an arrow. But once you find it enough, you propel forward with speed. For me, finding clarity, you may feel it stuck, you may feel slow, but you must know the future, you're going to fly fast, fly forward, because you have your clarity. Someone end.
Wow. Yeah, thank you for sharing, man. I think about the story, and I think the part on taking responsibility for life is so important, right? I think it's something that once you are truly taking responsibility, right, that's when so many things can change, and that's when things get started in your life. Where does it find clarity, purpose, your passion? But it all starts with that taking responsibility of your life, right? And I love the exercise of what I do about journaling, everything, right? I have a journal right here. It's bigger than my notebook, right? It's all about journaling. I think that's so important as well, right? And so so I think thanks for really being here. I know someone asked about book. We'll get to that in a bit. But so I think can you just share a bit more about where can people find you, right? And what's next for Roof, right? I think that's something that's going to be pretty interesting as well.
You can find me on my Instagram or Facebook page at Ruth Saw Clarity, Saw SAW Clarity, Ruth Saw Clarity. I'm writing my second book. My second book is a very specific niche group. It's about my life. I'm writing for specific Christian female singles. So that's going to be out in August. I really want Christian single females to find clarity in who they are, because there's been a lot of social stigma about, oh, you're not having children, you're not married, and there's been a lot of social stigma. I really want to, again, change that perspective. And that's the book is going to be out in August 5th. And it's a beautiful, beautiful date.
Yeah.
August 5th is a festival celebrated in Israel where, unmarried women wear white and they'll go out to the harvest field to dance in abundance. So this is metaphorically what I want to portray, that we as single women can dance in abundance. It is meant to be celebrated, and that's what I want this book to bring, to encourage single Christian ladies. So it's very, very different, but it's about clarity of our status.
All right, that's cool, man. I think that's pretty interesting. I guess I might not be the target audience for the book for sure, right? But definitely, let us know when it's out, right? Let us know. We'll definitely help you do a shout out for sure. I think Team Resh is more than ready to, more than happy to help you to promote it, right, when it comes out. So just let us know, right? I think that's something we'll do. So guys, so with that, we actually end the interview, but I want to share a bit more about how you can actually take it one step further, right? How you can get the book, right? And how you can actually possibly get coached by Ruth, right? So guys, if you actually if you have learned, if you all find this session valuable, help me just type valuable and just help me type useful, right? If you already found it that really of useful and valuable to you guys, right? And same thing, right? If you all screenshot this, right, all you have to do is just to share a post on your 3 biggest lessons, right? I can find so many lessons through this 1-hour interview alone, right? And you tag me and Ruth, right? And what we'll do is we'll actually compile all the entire interview into a set of notes. You can use it, right? You can share with yourself, your friends, your family, or loved ones. I think that'll be very, very useful for you, right? So Daryl says useful, right? Pooja says useful. Rickson says valuable, right? So that's great, right? And so yeah, like Ruth, so what we're gonna do, I think we discussed this, right? I think you were very generous, right, to give your time. So I think right now, guys, I'm going to announce how you can actually possibly get coached by Ruth to truly find your clarity, to accelerate your process, right? And at the same time, possibly win a set of books. So I think Team Resh bought about 100 books that we want to give away. We have been giving away already, right? And people had already had their life perspective change already, right? Some miracles have happened. Resh is probably going to share about it if you when he comes on live and whatnot. But so, and yeah, so who is here interested actually to getting coached, right? Or even getting personally coached by Ruth, right? In finding your clarity, your purpose and passion in life, right? Just let me type yes if it's like if you're interested. Right, I'm pretty excited, man. I think that the idea you're so generous to just say yes to it, right? And I think some people are really gonna have their lives changed, man, from this. Right, Pooja says me, right? It says useful, right? Daryl, you're welcome, right? So what we're gonna do, right? So what we're gonna do, guys, so with that, actually, I think what happened is, Ruth, I think thank you for really sharing your time. I think we really learned so much. It was so valuable, right? And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to announce the giveaway contest, right? And feel free to add on, because I think you know the importance of what we're going to share about and why we are doing this giveaway contest, all right? So for guys, for those who do not know, so this Sunday, right? So this Sunday at 9 p.m., right, Resh will be personally interviewing Veronica Tan, and she's the wife of Richard Tan, right, who's the CEO of Success Resources. And I think a lot of you don't know. A lot of you don't know that actually Veronica is the one that's actually connecting with the world leaders, right? She's the one that's actually liaising with them, talking to them, being first name basis with a lot of them. And what Resh is going to bring her on, right, to share about how she has actually was the secret weapon, right, to the growth of a global company that impacted more than 10 million lives, right, and how you can actually dominate as a female entrepreneur. So for the female entrepreneurs, for females who want to change the world, and even for the guys, right, to actually just tune into this interview and really want more people to come on to join the Team Resh community to actually learn about what we do and also to listen and learn from Team Resh. So what we're going to do, right, we're going to have a big giveaway contest, right? And you know we have been doing a few times already, a lot of giveaway contests. So I'm going to share a bit of the quick prizes and how you can win, right? So it's completely free, and this is how you can win the book, this is how you can win the contest, and that's something that you can really do, okay? So, right, just listen. What we'll do is we'll go on live again, right, to share about it. But very quickly, I'm going to share with you the link later. But number one, if you refer at least 3 people to join this Sunday, right? If you actually refer at least 3 people to join this Sunday, right? Ruth has generously, right, offered to actually give you her first chapter of a new book when it comes out, right? And at the same time, also to share with you how you can actually get the first chapter of the book, Clarity is Power, entirely for free, right? So that if you refer at least 3 people to join, right, that shouldn't be a challenge at all. I think everybody watching here could do it, right? But next, if you're in the top 20, right, the top 20 in terms of the people you refer, right, people sign up through your link and everything, we'll share it very quickly, right? You actually get to an exclusive group coaching session with Ruth herself, and it's about finding your clarity, finding your purpose, and at the same time, right, we're going to give you the Gallup Strengths Finder test completely for free. So we'll sponsor the test for you completely for free. So when you go into the group coaching session, you already have a much greater idea of what are your strengths, and you can work towards it as well as well. So if you like that, right, let me type yes if you actually like that price. We thought that'd be damn good. So Team Resh is completely sponsoring the test as well, and Ruth has generously offered to give her time, right? And if you're in the top 3, right, in the top 3, and Ruth is someone who has she's an international coach, right? She has people that she speaks to all around the world. So the top 3 will actually get a 1-to-1 personal coaching session with Ruth herself, right? You get a 1-to-1 session with Ruth to specifically tailored to you on how you can find your clarity and find your purpose and accelerate your purpose, accelerate your process, your journey, right, into finding your clarity, right? So if you're in the contest, right, my team is going to share the link with you right now, right, and then we can get started. Okay, so I'm going to post it here as well. I think it's tinyurl.com/Veronica Resh 1, right, and that's how you can participate in a giveaway. Right, so Ruth, thank you so much, right? And the one last thing is, guys, who here, right, in a call, you actually want to receive the book, right? You actually want the book, right? So top 20, you get a free book as well. For all the top 20, you get a free book as well. But who actually want to purchase a book, right? Not just for yourself, right? Not just for yourself, but for the people around you as well. And I think we were discussing right before the interview, Ruth, that like you were saying that the book is kind of simple, right? But I feel the fact that it's so simple means that children can read it. Kids can read it as well. So guys, when you think about like buying the book, right, don't even think about, like, it's Giving Wednesday right now, right? Don't even think about buying the book just for yourself, right, or just for your family. Like, who are the people you feel can really impact, that could be really impacted by the book, right, to share with your kids and to share it with the people around you, right? So what it's going to do, right? So what we're going to do, right, is email. So listen very carefully, right? Email hello@teamresh.com, right, with the subject line, I want clarity. Right, so my team, if you're there, just listen, just type it down for me, for everyone to learn. So email hello@teamresh with the subject line, I want clarity, and just share the number of books that you want to buy. Right, just share the number of books you want to buy. And what we're going to do, right, we're going to do a mass order, right? So depending on the number of books, right, we're going to do one mass order so everyone can get it way cheaper, way faster, and we'll collate the orders by midnight on Sunday. Right, by midnight on Sunday, right? Clear orders, we'll do one big batch orders, right? And if we hit big numbers, we might actually have part 2 with Ruth, if Ruth is okay with it as well, right? But what I'm gonna do, like, repeat again, with the subject, email hello@teamresh.com with the subject line, I want clarity, and then let us know how many books do you want to purchase. We'll collate all the numbers, right, and then we will send it to you, and then we'll have a one big bunch order, and we're going to be starting on the quest, right, of getting the whole world, right, through you, Ruth, to actually help people find more clarity and purpose in their life. Right, so I know that was a whole mouthful. We're going to share it. We're going to do an email, right? We're going to share on a post as well, for sure. But yeah, so with that, we close off. I know we went slightly overrun, but Ruth, any last final message that you'd like to share with our audience before we close off, right? And yeah, anything you'd like to share with our guys right here with Team Resh?
Yeah, I'm so honored and grateful to be able to share with you today. All I want to say is that when you start your journey with clarity, remember that you are someone that is of great, great value, and you have a beautiful, beautiful destiny awaiting for you. All you need to do is to take that first step, push past your doubts, and step into your destiny. I believe in you.
Wow, that's powerful messages, man. There's so much stuff that was inside, man. So thank you, Ruth, for sharing, for doing what you do, right? I know people are so going to benefit, right? So for Team Resh, for the people out there, thanks for watching, right? And we'll see you soon for our upcoming events, our sharings, right? And definitely this is not going to be the last time you see Ruth. She's going to be on, I'm sure she's going to be on, she's going to be featured many times in Team Resh as well. All right, so bye everyone. I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.